No, never, it's my time, it's my time, it's my time. I'ma leave it all on the line. Better believe I'll get mine. No, never, it's my time.
People. I'm here with Marian Thompson, and guess what are we doing together?
We are working on a book about power.
And power, where it comes from. Does it come from money, from purpose, from circumstances, from connections, from position, titles, all kind of power. But most importantly, we are bringing together two kind of powers.
Yes, the external power and the internal power. You know, the part that I'm contributing to the book is all about the external power. How do we navigate through this world with intention? How do we respond to it? And how do we take personal responsibility for how we're co-creating the world around us? Because we can take hold of that. There is so much that we're able to achieve.
And there is so much available out there in the external, right? Because everybody is talking about the internal. Of course, everything comes from inside out. But here is the thing. Sometimes, Marian, you brought a very amazing example when we discussed the fish and the fishing. Well, I'm not thinking about how to learn fishing if first I haven't overcome that hunger. If I'm starving, first I need to eat something so then I can start thinking how to learn fishing. I'm not able to think to educate myself.
Exactly. Well, a couple of years ago, we were able, through the Ministry Institute, to work with Wild Africa. We got 160 families out of the war zone Sudan to the safety of South Sudan with a manual job. But so what? You now have 160 families, they're in safety, but they just sit on the ground. It's going to take a for-profit investment so that people are empowered to be able to sustain their independent lives. You know, I think sometimes it's kind of like a cop-out. People go, okay, well, you can't help people if you keep helping them. You got to let them learn how to fish on their own. Yes and no. Where you start isn't always fair. And it's one thing when people are in a real privileged position to say, yeah, let them learn to fish. But reality is we have to help people get the first fish, get the first bait, get the first fish bowl. The people have to have
It's
these
like
things.
the pyramid of Maslow. First, there are some needs, the very basic needs, which I need to take care. I need to have a shelter and a roof under the head. I need to have some food in the table. I need to be warm, because if I'm not warm, I'm frozen. I'm not able to think, and I don't have any capacity to go beyond that. So number one. And number two, also, it's an incredible opportunity that we're putting together, because we both come with two complete different circumstances, life circumstances, but we meet a lot in many angles, in many perspectives, in many dynamics. So Marian brings her journey, her childhood, her growth, and I bring my own, and we raised in complete different circumstances and two different corners of the globe. So how in earth we come together? We know each other for more than 10 years.
Incredible.
And the more we know each other, the more we gravitate towards a common purpose.
Absolutely. Because, when we're trying to make change in the world and you're trying to uplift communities are made of individuals. And within the individual, if the individual doesn't believe that they can have power of crafting their own story, that's one of the things we were talking about earlier. I grew up in a very privileged situation, but I also grew up in an all mostly white community, very privileged community, being brown skin, having a hearing loss, being a kid with asthma, seizures, migraines that sometimes spend a month at a time in the hospital fighting to breathe. All those things contributed to who I am.
Yeah.
And as I was sharing with Mirela earlier, it would be very easy to take the narrative of poor you, or you can choose the narrative, how does this strengthen me?
Yeah.
How does my hearing loss teach me to listen? How does struggling to breathe teach me to try and be physically fit? How does, dealing with, something I can't change, like my skin color, teach me how to hold my head high and own my space and say, I deserve to be here? Because the world can tell you a narrative, but you actually have the choice as to whether or not you take on that narrative or you go, no, I'm going to create my own. And that's one of the things I'm so admire about your story.
And
because
same.
You chose to create a narrative for you when the one that you were being told.
And same, both of us, what we have in common, we didn't allow anything in our circumstances to make us a victim.
Exactly.
We could easily be a victim. You could be a victim of your childhood circumstances, including racism and health and challenges that you had to go through. I could become a victim of my childhood circumstances as being isolated in the middle of nowhere, raised with a very horrible stepfather and being poor. And I could just easily be there and find excuses to not strengthen myself. we both have come that far to give a message, to humanity, but especially to womanity. So we both are big campaigners for empowering women. We both believe that empowerment comes from many levels, but the most important level of it is financial. So here you are listening the voice of someone who was poor and didn't have fish in the table. And here you can learn from another one who comes from a very wealthy background, but also led with a purpose, also putting fish in the table for the poor. I think it's meant to be.
I think what's important is empowering the individual to basically achieve their vision for themselves. Because in every situation, whether you were born with a handicap like I was, or you were, my mom had bipolar, dealing with a lot of the physical and emotional abuse of that growing up, or what you dealt with your father, you can choose what that narrative is. And if you choose for yourself a narrative that says, I am worth this, my goal is that, and most empowering, if you can choose to marry your purpose with something that's going to affect the world around you, the sky's the limit about what you can do. And, so yes, financial empowerment is one of the biggest tools out there. But you can have all the money in the world. And I come from a place of privilege. I know many people like this. They have all the money in the world, but
they're powerless.
They're trapped. They're trapped in their mind. They're trapped in a definition they've allowed another to put on them. So it doesn't matter what you have in your bank account. If your own mind isn't free. So your mind has to be free, and it has to connect with your heart, it has to connect with your soul. And if you can choose what you're going to navigate towards for yourself, you will always be able to compete faster and better than the person who's only going after money for its sake. So what are you using it for? It's a tool.
And you reminded me when I moved to this country and people started seeing my progress and how my journey completely started changing that narrative. People started asking and questioning, where is she getting the money? Who is sponsoring her? Who is funding her? And you know what I told? I said, I have a bank. I have a private bank. Here, every time I need money, I put my credit card here and I take the money like this. Here. And Marianne, you just reflected exactly what we are going through the book.
Yes.
The money and the wealth is in your mind.
Yes.
But in order for you to be able to start thinking, you need a little bit of help.
Yes. And that's where, with a lot of people who are in a place of privilege, one of the powers that many of them don't know they have is you're making decisions that impact whole communities. And so to me, power is meant to be in motion. Power only becomes more powerful and grows for the individual if it is shared. And that's something that sounds counterintuitive because you think, oh, I got to hold on to it. But actually, when you empower the community around you to rise up, as they rise up, you rise up. So as long as you are sharing the strategy and purpose, you are actually uplifting yourself up.
So true, because the only way to achieve success is to help others achieve success. And you must know this, Marianne, the only way to make money is to help others make money.
Exactly.
So that is exactly what we want you to start thinking right now. Yes, things are changing. Women are coming to the power of wealth, and women are being more responsible and more capable of raising their ability, increasing their ability to make their own money. And together with Marianne, we are in this movement where one woman at a time will start bringing another one to believe that, yes, first, we can make our own money. Second, we make it, we have it, we claim it, and we share it.
Yes. And in the process of doing that, also recognizing that the person who has money will never be able to compete as strongly as the person who has never had it, but has a purpose.
Yeah.
Now, if you're blessed to have money and purpose, what you can generate there is unstoppable.
Then
but
there is no
only
limit.
if you share it,
Yes.
only if you uplift somebody else.
Yeah.
So those are those keys that people don't ever tell you. And people think, I got to have this, I got to have that. Instead of thinking, I got to share this, I got to collaborate with that. But if you network with others and you lift everybody else up, you truly have limitless potential.
So, yes, learn, earn, and return.
Yes.
And stay tuned. An amazing book is coming soon.
Thank you.
I'ma leave it all on the line. Better believe I'll get mine. No, never, it's my time. It's my time. It's my time. I'ma leave it all